A couple days ago, I received an email from a business associate of mine who I had written to and asked him how things were going. And based in this current climate, his response was understandable. He proceeded to inform me that he felt like a dog that had just been kicked, but he really didn't know why. Remember, many years ago, I had this dog that used to love to lay by the fire and warm himself up, and he was one evening laying in the vicinity of this big bonfire we had going, and I was just kind of sitting there reading. I wasn't really paying attention until suddenly I smelled something really kind of funny, and I looked over, and here's my dog smoking. His fur had caught on fire. He didn't even know it. So of course I jump up out of my chair and I race over there and I just start pounding on the dog, you know, beating the fire out. And you should have seen the look on this dog's face. I don't think 3 years later that dog trusted me. I mean, he's just minding his own business. He's just doing his thing. All of a sudden, here's this maniac just beating the daylights out of him. And you know, I saved his life, right? You know, I mean, at least from getting burned. And you know, I don't think he ever appreciated it. So, you know, such is life, you know. But you know, I was thinking the other day about a story in the Old Testament. There's a story about a man named Mephibosheth. That's a real tough one, Mephibosheth. And he was a character that King David, it's in the book of 2 Samuel, decided he was going to reach out to and he was going to care for. He had made a promise that he would take care of any of the descendants of Jonathan and Saul. And even though he had his struggles with Saul, he loved Jonathan. Read the Bible much, you'll know the friendship that existed with David and Jonathan. And so David had asked his servant, he says, well, are there any more descendants? You know, I made this vow and this promise. And he goes, well, yeah, there's the son of Jonathan who is he's crippled. He's lame in you know, both feet, both legs. And David says, well, go get him, bring him here. And by the way, I guess I should have said, Kathy and I were reading our devotions. We were kind of going through the Old Testament, just kind of reading, you know, so many chapters, and we had come across this story. So I was reading that story, which kind of adds a little flavor to it, to Kathy one day that we were out camping, and she was listening to this story, and I'm reading it, and in the middle of reading, I look up and I just see Kathy just really affected by this story. And you know, the story has to do with how King David had loved this individual who probably as a king shouldn't have even been hanging around with. You know, what's that going to look like? You know, King David hanging around in that day and age with people that were not, you know, fit. Not that that's politically correct, but you know, it's just kind of the way it was then. And you know, Mephibosheth was just blown away that David had invited him to come and live in the palace and eat at the king's table. And there was this exchange between David and this individual where Mephibosheth, said to David, why would you have anything to do with a dog like me? And when I had read that line, that just affected Kathy in a way that she started bawling. And I said, babe, what's going on? She says, there are times where I feel just like that dog, just this abandoned, worthless individual. And I think we all, at some point in our life, have run into times where we just feel we don't really fit in. We don't have any value, no purpose. there's all kinds of issues that create that, but I was very affected by hearing Kathy share what she felt concerning this this story and how it affected her. I guess just in a way to where she felt like she was just this worthless servant. As we read the story, we continued on. It was really interesting to the discussion just sort of went around to the fact that, you know, we have a Lord who loves us in a way that we can't imagine. He doesn't see us as these lame spiritual cripples. He sees us as people that he's made a commitment to, and he sticks to it, like King David did with Mephibosheth. You know, the Lord has made a promise to you. Maybe there's a couple people watching this that this speaks very specifically to. You just feel like this abandoned, messed up person who, for whatever reason, you're a cripple in the rest of the world. It's sort of like the stories of the lepers who just, you know, didn't fit in anywhere, felt abandoned, felt rejected. And boy, I tell you, that is an amazing story when you think about it, in terms of the love that our God has for us, that he hasn't abandoned us, and that we get to eat at the King's table. I don't have to have other people qualify or quantify my life. That's what Jesus did. And maybe you're going through a time in your life where you just, you know, you feel like a dog. You just, you know, you're not sure even why you're being kicked. I really want to encourage you in the fact that you have a Lord that has invited you to eat at his table. And he hasn't abandoned you. He hasn't forgotten his word to you, his commitment to you. And so I do trust that this ministers to you and brings some encouragement to you as you focus on that the Lord loves you, that he cares for you, and has committed to you. God bless.